Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my career mode here today around China. Here is the general wear that I got in the last episode, and let's head into qualifying now and let's see how we do.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China. Looking at this field today, Ants, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance, maybe run the harder of the available compounds and save some of the grippy tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that, and even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
So here we are then, starting in Q1, running a bit wide there as we start our first qualifying lap, and I just want to say thank you for the support on the first episode of this, returning for Season 2. I know it was a good month between Season 1 and Season 2, but I did explain in the last video why there wasn't any videos between that time. But coming across the line now to start our second proper lap of Q1, after I set a bank lap maybe, and coming across the line now to finish Q1, and we get into Q2, I'm assuming. Yes, we do. We get into 11th place as it goes into an onboard of Valtteri Bottas for some reason. I don't know why that did. And we qualify in 11th. Massa out-qualified us in 9th. But as you can see there, 3 of the top 7 there going with softs. I don't know why. Obviously, the usual suspects going out in Q1, the McLarens, Saubers, and either a Renault, a Haas, or a Toro Rosso. That normally happens. But you know, I'm quite liking this car. It's a lot better than the Toro Rosso, I'll tell you that. So you know, it's a lot more enjoyable to drive in that case. You know, it's a lot faster, obviously, because I got a podium last time now. And as you can see here, coming around the final corner now to finish our first lap in Q2, Kimi Raikkonen decided to overtake me in the fourth last corner. And it compromised me quite a bit, so I decided to go again, a little bit later on into the session, obviously. And yeah, it really annoyed me that he decided to do that. He had no reason to. I mean, yes, he was on flying lap, but he could have backed off. And we came across the line now to improve to 9th place in the session, and that gets us through in 8th. So you know, it's going well so far. Massa manages to get through as well, so I mean, well done to him. Jolyon Palmer there qualifying in 12th place. It's a record high for Jolyon Palmer, I'll tell you that. Kvyat, Magnussen, Grosjean and Ocon going out as well. Hulkenberg managing to get through to Q3, which is good for him. Bottas there starting on the soft tyres. He will be in the race, so that's key for him. So coming on to Q3 now. I decided to leave it late in the session because you know, track evolution and all that, and there'll be traffic. So coming down now to cross line to finish our first lap, that puts us in P7. So we seem to be liking P7 at the minute in this career mode. But coming across the line again to improve by a couple of tenths, and that puts us in P7. So we stayed in P7 for the Grand Prix. I mean, we just seem to be getting P7 all the time, all of a sudden. So the top 10 is Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Verstappen, myself, Perez, Hulkenberg, and Massa. So hopefully we can have a good race, and you know, try and get a podium once again. But I doubt it because it's not raining. But yeah, hopefully Massa can stay in the points as well this time. And let's see how we get on in the race. And I want to hand over to Anthony Davidson and Crofty to introduce you to the race.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty, like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you got turns 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and a Williams, Perez, Hülkenberg, Massa and Esteban Ocon, Bottas, Palmer, Romain Grosjean and Kvyat, Magnussen, Sainz, Stoffel van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein. Ericsson and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
This is a really good starting position for us. Let's try not to lose it.
Don't worry, Jeff. I'll try my best not to lose this position. As you saw there in the lineups, Bottas got a penalty for some reason. They seem to get penalties very early on in the season, and I don't know why. It's confusing me. But as you saw there, the strategy was a simple one-stop, super soft to soft, and hopefully we can get a good start in this Grand Prix, and you know, try and get some good positions, and then try and hold on to them, obviously. I hope Massa can do well in this race as well. So let's find out now as we go to the 5 red lights. Here we are now, the 5 red lights. We've got 3 lights, it's 4 lights, it's 5 lights. So that's how we go here for the Chinese Grand Prix. We've got off to a relatively good start. I think Perez behind us has gone off to an amazing start. We've obviously got the better engine power, so Perez has gone down our inside. We've lost the rear end going around the first corner. We've managed to avoid everyone somehow. We've not got any damage, and now we're alongside Bottas and someone else. I mean, what is going on here? Bottas is going side by side with a Haas. I had to do some manoeuvre because I thought that those two were going to crash into each other. Now we're behind Kvyat somehow. So there's been a terrible start by myself, I'm sorry. It's going down the inside of 3 cars there into the 4th corner, I think it is. And we're now back up into 11th place, I think that is. But now, because we've gone to lap 2 now, we've ran wide coming out of the long right-hander. And now we've got Valtteri Bottas all over us, and obviously with him being in a Mercedes, yes, we might have the same power unit, or the same power, but obviously with him being in a Mercedes, he's got just a little bit more because they're the factory team, so they're going to have a little bit more. But we managed to successfully defend from him as he tries to go down the inside. We go around the outside of him, and now cutting on to lap 3 now, I think that this is, yeah, lap 3. We're in the same position once again, however, I'm now squeezing Bottas even more now, and he just gets past the DRS basically. So yeah, it's I wasn't really going to stand up at any chance of fighting Bottas as I rode really wide there and get the car caught up on the curb, fortunately. And now, cutting on to lap 4, I decided to come into the pit lane because the tyres were just awful. I mean, that's basically it, really. The tyres were awful, and it's just, that's the reason why I mean, yes, I was being overtaken by Mercedes, but I wasn't catching up to the guys ahead of me. So, I assumed the tyres were down to it, because I had the pace in qualifying, so why wouldn't I have the pace in the race? So I assumed it was the tyres that was giving me really poor pace, so I decided to pit in, go onto a set of softs until the end of the Grand Prix, do 10 laps, and then they should do 10 laps. Yeah, see how we get on. And luckily for me, cutting on to lap 6 now, we've caught up to Hülkenberg's, and I was nowhere near Hülkenberg before the pit stops, so we've gone down the inside in there into turn 4, I'm assuming it is. I'm sure someone will correct me. And that's us now up into 18th place. Wow, the dizzying heights of 18th place. But now, coming down the pit straight, and we've actually jumped our teammate. So the undercut here has worked really well, and there's been that was a very odd crash in front of me there, going into the pit lane. let's see what happened here. It was between Perez and a McLaren, I think it was. So they're going side by side through here. Perez is trying to go around the last corner, and Van Dorn just went into the pits. I mean, Perez was just in the wrong place, wrong time, I think. Obviously, Van Dorn wanting to go into the pit lane, he's going to do it anyway. He's on the inside, and yeah, that was strange, and that caused the VSC, which was helpful, I guess. I mean, I can understand why they call it VSC, because Perez was parked in the pit entrance. But coming around the final corner now to finish in P7 for this Grand Prix.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium. And as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. And after this round,
So here is the final race classification then. Vettel won the Grand Prix, so it's a good comeback from him. Hamilton finished second, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Verstappen and Bottas managed to recover to P6, so that's a good job from him. I basically just stayed where I was, really. The reason why I didn't show you any of the last stint is because, you know, it's nothing really happened to me, really. As you can see there then, you know, I mean, the usual suspect really, Massa in there for some reason. I don't know why he's in there. I don't know, he must have had an issue or something and dropped really far down the grid. But moving on to the driver's standings then, I have now dropped down to 4th place in the driver's standings, and Vettel has just jumped straight above me. He's still 18 points behind Hamilton, that's the one. But, you know, I'm still up there. Hopefully I can stay up there for the rest of the season. I just want to talk to you about Classic Career Mode for a minute. There won't be any episodes of that going out tomorrow or next Monday, simply because I've just had a lot to do over this past week and over the weekend, so I just won't have time to record it. So apologies about that, but it will return as normal next Friday. In the Constructors, we're now down to 4th, but if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.